Welcome to Always Coachable, conversations with athletes, coaches, leaders, and other high performers about growth, mindset, resilience, and the pursuit of getting better. I'm Sandy Cohen, and today's guest is Marques Ogden. Marques is a former NFL offensive lineman who's built an entirely new life on the other side of the game. After football, he lost everything: his business, his finances. He literally hit the bottom. And from there, he has built himself into a keynote speaker, a best-selling author, a TEDx speaker, and the host of Get Authentic with Marques Ogden, one of the most listened to podcasts in the world. The top, the bottom, and the long climb back. He's truly living the full arc. He's a father, he's a brother, he's a mentor, he's a coach, and I am lucky enough to call him my friend. And Marques, here is why I wanted you on the show. You have turned every part of your journey into something that you can hand to other people. That's rare. Most people who fall that far don't come back to teach the map to others. So Marques, welcome to the show, my man.
Thank you, Coach. How you doing today? I appreciate you having me on. I'm very, very excited to chat and talk about mindset, resilience, and how to bounce back.
That intro for you, how close do you think that is to how you see yourself?
Very accurate because, Coach, I'm all about helping people. I'm all about helping others get where they want to get in life. I'm all about being an individual who helps people through ambition, giving them a blueprint, drive, helping them become more inspired, over motivated, and hard work, focusing on themselves and not the competition. And that's actually one of our books, The Success Cycle. Those are the three keys to creating success, fulfillment in your life: ambition, drive, and hard work. So we're very much practical in our teaching because at the end of the day, right, Coach, stories are amazing. But if you can't give someone practical action steps they can put into their own life and apply for their own life and their own benefit, then you're seen as a motivational speaker or a motivational person, which is not a bad thing, but motivation burns out, fizzles out at some point. If you want to change the world, Coach, be inspirational way more than you are motivational.
Yep. I used to have a coach a long time ago that would say discipline builds, motivation fades, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Because here's the thing, right, Coach? Discipline builds character. So focus, right, Coach? Emotion plus extreme discipline. Notice how I said emotion. It's up to the person. Is that going to be positive emotion and positive thoughts and positive images with discipline to create a great life? Or is it going to be negative thoughts, negative emotion with compounding extreme discipline where you're always complaining? I have a client I was talking to yesterday, great guy, but unfortunately, Coach, he is so negative and he knows that. And we talked about it, said, hey, man, you are always focusing on the negative emotions of life, what you don't have financially or marriage-wise or resources, whatever the case may be. But if you keep doing that, you're going to keep having a life where you're not going to have what you want because you're just going to constantly keep saying to yourself, well, I want more. I want more. Yep. Well, then Don't just want more, do more to get more. And so that's what focus is, right, Coach? It could either be positive, which gives you great outcome, or unfortunately, it could be negative. It's going to give you negative.
So take me back for you. Before all of this, right? How did you get into football of all things? And what were you like kind of in the younger years? And then we'll kind of get to where you are now.
So I started playing football as a freshman in high school because I was very much following my older brother, Jonathan Ogden, who was the Ravens' first draft pick ever in 1996. He is their first ballot Hall of Famer, went in 2013. And my dad played football at Howard University, the Bison. So I just wanted to be like my dad, like my brother. And I played football and I was pretty good and decent and all that. After high school, I didn't get any offers until the very, very end when Howard University came to my home, sat down at our dining room table. My head coach, Steve Wilson, told my parents, not only are we going to give your son a 5-year full scholarship, He's going to redshirt his first year. He's going to get stronger, lift. We see him as a 4-year starter for us. Oh, and by the way, we truly believe that your son can be the first ever offensive lineman drafted from our university to the National Football League. And I sat there, I listened to him talk, and he left. I said, Dad, do you believe this bupkis? Like, you hear this guy? Like, I'm going to Howard, but like, go to the NFL? Like, I don't have any offers, man. This is my only offer. And then he said, Marcus, how many schools can you go to? Now, of course, this was before NIL and stuff's going on now. Well, how many schools can you go to? One. That's all it takes. He said, if Howard believes you can do this, why don't you? I said, okay, Dad. And so I, just to true to form, I redshirted. I was a 4-year starter, and I was the first, and I'm still coach, the only offensive lineman ever drafted from Howard University to the National Football League.
When that coach was in your living room, like, do you think that you recognize the gravity of that moment, like how much of a pivotal moment that was in your life? What an opportunity. I mean, do you think you had any understanding of that?
At the time, absolutely not. 100% no. Today, it's everything in my life, because what I realized, that was the first time somebody outside my family actually believed in me wholeheartedly.
That's huge.
And that's huge. It's everything, Coach, because, and Coach, I still talk to Coach Wilson to this day. He's still, as a matter of fact, Coach Wilson lives in Durham, North Carolina. He's from Durham. So the fact that I'm in North Carolina now, and the fact that Coach Wilson really believed in me when I didn't believe in myself, that was a true pivotal moment, a life-defining moment in my life, without a doubt.
How do you think you were able then to have success in athletics up until that point? Was it just your skill? Because so many, it's very, very honest of you. So many people that I've talked to in this share a similar story, that maybe they didn't have the belief in themselves. Maybe they were just gifted, and what people saw on the outside wasn't necessarily what was going on the inside. Was that the case for you?
So, Coach, I was a big kid, and I was physical. I was aggressive. Was I a standout player in high school? Not really. I was good, but I wasn't great. But I also, to my defense, I played in one of the toughest leagues in the country for high school, the WCAC. It had schools like Gonzaga, DeMatha, Good Counsel. They had some powerhouse teams and schools. So I was tested. But to be honest, Coach, for me, what really drove me was just my size. And I had a decent work ethic in high school. It was decent. It got really, really strong and consistent and high level of a work ethic in college. And that's when, I don't think it's probably anybody would say, yeah, going into my redshirt sophomore year of college at Howard, when I started to see what I started to look like physically with actually putting the work in, and I went from like 330 to like 305, and I was lean, and I had, good muscle mass. I was like, oh, okay. So then I started getting really disciplined from that time. And Coach, I'm still disciplined like that to this day. Like, I work out. I mean, today I woke up, my back's a little tight. I was like, you know what? That's okay. We're going to go to the gym still. I may not be able to do what I'm wanting to do, play 4 or 5 games of basketball. I thought getting 1 or 2, and I got my lift in. Was it pretty? No. But did I do it? Yep, sure did. And again, I'll be there tomorrow. Same thing. I'll be there Saturday, right, Coach? And that's the discipline. See, that's the good emotion plus extreme discipline, which is focus, which is why I've lost a lot of weight. I had the same process going forward in my life, because now that's where, honestly, Coach, that focus came in right around going to my redshirt sophomore year of college in that regard.
Is that when the NFL dream popped into your head? Like, was that even on the radar?
That's an excellent question. No, it came about, Coach, going into the year after that. So going to my redshirt junior year, right? When I saw my name in a few, remember, Coach, they had like these little pamphlets, like top 500 players in college, right? So I remember I looked in there and I said, Marques Ogden, Howard University, is like in the top 300 players in college football. I was like, what? I remember calling my brother, like, Jonathan, did I see, is this right? He's like, well, it's in the book, so obviously it is. And I said, Jonathan, I'm only going to my junior year. He said, Marcus, that's awesome. You're going to do your junior year. You're going to do your senior year. You're going to put that work in. You're going to get focused. You're going to be disciplined. And you're going to do exactly what you need to do on the football field, in the classroom, in the weight room. And you're going to put it all out there and let the chips fall where they may. See right
Roll
there,
the
Coach?
dice, right? Roll the dice.
Always, Coach, always coachable. Great title for your podcast. Coach, my brother was coaching me. Hey, you're going to do this. Here's how we're going to do it. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. And then by the grace of God, Coach, going to my last year at Howard, we got a strength coach, Coach Keith Camaforo. So Coach Keith helped me to get stronger, faster, bigger, and that was pivotal going into the workouts, combines, bowl game. I played in the Hula Bowl in Maui, right? So I had Jonathan for technique, professionalism, how to be a pro. He was already in the NFL at that time. That was going to be probably his 2000, like his fifth year, give or take. Fifth or sixth, it's like about his fifth year. Yeah, as a matter of fact, they had just won the Super Bowl. So yeah, going to his fifth year. And then I had Coach K for the strength part, the workout part, the speed part, the agility part. And I was able to combine those two great coaches and was coachable, left it all out there, went to the Hula Bowl coach, showed out the guy who I practiced against every single day for that week leading up to the game, Alonzo Jackson. I shut him down the entire week in pass rush drills and pass protection drills. He didn't win a down against me. He had 4 sacks in that game against the opponent, and I was able to lock him down all week.
I was going to ask how much of an influence your brother had on you, just having someone out there to kind of guide and lead. But I want to take a different approach to it, because while you were certainly fortunate to have that, and I'm sure that helped quite a bit, what you just said, though, I think is even more important, right? It's one thing to have a coach, but it's something else to be coachable, right? Like, just because you have someone that's been there and done that ahead of you, that's not a guarantee for your personal success. So do you remember kind of flipping a switch inside where you said, man, I have to learn how to be coachable. Like, I have to listen. I have to really be all in.
Right then, Coach, going into that, my redshirt junior season, when I had that talk with Jonathan, and he told me, this is what we're going to do, period. If you want to play in the NFL, if you want to have a chance at the next level, if you want to give it your all these last 2 years, and this way you have no regrets in your life, you're going to do this, this, and this. I said, Jonathan, at that moment, Coach, I said, I'm all in. So I stopped partying as much. I still went out here or there, but very, very rarely I ever go out. I fixed myself as far as my diet. I fixed myself as far as my workouts. I was already working out well, but I got even more serious. I got even more into it. I was becoming also an even more studious student of the game. I would watch film all the time, right, of upcoming opponents. I remember being at Howard University in our meeting room, just watching upcoming games of guys for those last 2 years all the time. And I would watch film, Coach, with the coaches, with the team, stuff like that, right? And I would do that. I was front row, all that. But those last 2 years, after talking to Jonathan, that's when I developed doing it on my own. We always had it with the team, with my coaches, but I would watch it early in the morning when nobody was there, or late at night when nobody was there, right? I mean, I would just literally, because what happens, Coach, when I got to the NFL, those habits that I was coached on from Jonathan and Coach K carried over with me. My entire NFL career, Coach, I never, ever missed a workout, ever. I was
you were practicing how to be a pro before you even knew that you wanted to be a pro. That's right. That's right.
Yeah. And Coach, and all those things carried over into what I did in the NFL, because I didn't have to turn a switch on The switch was already being turned on years prior.
You had the system, you practiced the system, and you just got really, really good at executing it. Do you remember your first time you ran onto the field in an NFL uniform?
Yeah, of course. I was playing the Minnesota Vikings, my first game. And I remember thinking to myself, wow, this is the big time. This is big time NFL football. This is no longer, a hobby. It's not college football. It's big time National Football League football.
It's a job.
And
It's a job.
it's a job. It's
Yep.
a career.
That's right.
It's an opportunity to change your life. And that really changed for me because when I realized that now here I am as a professional getting paid to do what I love to do, it truly had a different feeling at that moment.
Yep. So when you look back, are you happy with what you were able to achieve in your NFL days? I mean, obviously yeah.
Always. I mean, I had a 6-year career. There's some things that we sure I could have done differently. I mean, I wish I would have learn how to communicate better with sometimes the coaches if I had a problem instead of trying to just, figure it out on my own. Just go sit down and talk to them as human beings. Communicate. So that's something that I've really worked on after my career, especially now, Coach, in our new business with Ogden Ventures. I'm a big person in communication. If you don't understand something that I said or vice versa, I want you to ask me and I'm going to ask you because that is the real conduit, the real foundation of greatness in people is communication. Because if you can understand someone and apply what they're saying, or they can understand you and apply what you're saying, now you got something special.
Were you, when your career was coming to an end, you're in the NFL, were you nervous about what was next? Do you remember kind of having mixed feelings about it? How am I going to do this? I mean, was that any part of your thought process?
Of course, yes. I mean, going into my last year, I kind of knew I was probably not going to make it because my back had given out and I had some really bad injuries and I was just going through a lot of pain both in my personal life and my professional life. Our father had passed away a couple months before that. So I was really struggling. And so absolutely, Coach, it was very terrifying what to do after my career is over. I had no plan. I had no structure. I had no purpose. So when it did come to fruition, I was very, very just not prepared for it. Even though I knew it was coming, I still wasn't prepared for it. I tell my clients, preparation is the foundation for execution.
Yep.
And that's why I didn't execute anything, Coach. For 6 months, Coach, I kind of flailed. I would go to bed at like 5 in the morning, wake up at like 11, 12 o'clock. I'd pop a bottle of Tanqueray. It was 12:01. I'm not a drunk. I'm good. This is fine. And I would just go gamble or I don't know, just go to the movies all the time or go eat or I don't know, man. And then nighttime come, I was in the club, I was in the bar, I was on the scene trying to still act like I was an athlete. I was not, and so I did a lot of things, Coach, because I didn't have a coach to help me with that next phase of life. Even though I knew it was coming, right, Coach, I still wasn't prepared and ready for it when what I knew was coming actually became reality.
I see that chapter in doing this podcast and in my coaching business. I mean, I see that a lot with high performers. What you just said, I've heard that a lot. People who are high performers, very goal driven, very accomplished. Once they reach, I'm not going to say the mountaintop, but what they thought was a mountaintop, there's a hard transition to realizing that it was just a mountaintop, so it's like, where do we redirect all of those great things that got you to the NFL? Now that the NFL is over, like what's the new target, right? And it's challenging, I bet.
Of course, because Coach, you truly don't know what you're good at because you've been playing football for so long. I've been playing football since I was 13 years old. Here I am now, what, 27, 28 years old. And for the last, 14, 15 years, that's all I've been doing, right? I mean, I had school and things like that, but like my whole life revolved around the gridiron, in between the hashes, being a civilized savage and knocking the crap out of people and
getting
getting
paid
paid
for it.
for
And
it.
getting paid for it.
And
Yeah.
not having and not going to jail because you're doing things on the field that are legal in the field that are illegal in everyday life. So
Yeah.
when that time came, coach, it was absolutely a mother, because like, what do you do and what are you good at? And this is why I love, love what the NFL is doing now with like Player Care Foundation,
Yep.
trust,
Definitely.
associations, the legends. They're helping guys that are doing their off season. I just saw where DeAndre Hopkins went and got his degree in finance. Or took
I saw that.
like a something around, a finance degree to learn how to operate and use money. I'm like, awesome. Now, when I was playing, they didn't have that, and that's fine. I mean, it's what it was. But now they do, and guys can do financial stuff, like finance classes. Guys can do like broadcasting stuff if they want. They can do media training. They can go to different programs and learn how to do business or entrepreneurship or leadership or speaking, all these things. So the NFL now is much more aware of how to help their athletes transition out when that time comes. I don't care who you are, right, coach? You could be the GOAT, Tom Brady, who is without a doubt the GOAT, in my opinion. I love Montana. I love all these players, but like to me, Tom Brady is still the GOAT. And Tom played till he's 45, which is absolutely earth-shattering. Like that just, I don't think anybody's ever gonna do that again.
At quarterback. Right. Yeah.
But where's Tom now?
Yeah.
Retired and doing amazing, but retired. The point I'm making is, coach, every athlete is going to become an ex-athlete.
Yep. So a big part of your story is what came next. And I know there were some business ventures that didn't work out. And if we fast forward a little bit, you can share as much as you want about it, but you found yourself not that long after your career was over, kind of waking up with nothing. All of the stuff that you were kind of investing in, or your next phase of your life. Tell me about that, if you feel comfortable chatting about it.
Absolutely, coach. So after my NFL career, I got to construction after about those 6 months of defilement of my body, excessive drinking, partying, gambling, popping painkillers like they were nothing, right, coach? I literally, like, what am I gonna do? So I started my construction company, Caden Premier Enterprises. And we started out as a small concrete contractor in Baltimore City when my coach or mentor lost his business, lost his earthwork company. We stepped in and we became the largest African American owned subcontractor in the area or scope of site work in Baltimore City, the state of Maryland, and the DC area. And we were crushing it, coach. But what happened is, unfortunately, I won an award in 2011. I was the Minority Contractor of the Year for the state of Maryland. And when I won that award, coach, my ego that switch just flipped for the undeniably worst way you can think of. I got so egotistical, so self-centered, so focused on negative emotion, right, coach? I was negative all the time, disciplined doing so, but I was negative. I wanted money. I treated people like crap. I was rude. I was arrogant. I was entitled. All these things. I ended up losing everything I owned in 2013. 2012, coach, it was December 23rd, 2012. The bank where we had our line of credit with, we had our equipment line, we had our cash revolving line. They said, Marques, we've been meeting for 5 hours. We are shutting Caden Premier Enterprises down. and coming after everything you own come January 2013. And coach, that's when I knew it was all over. And we moved from Baltimore down to Raleigh, got down here. I have $400 left to my name. That is it, coach. No credit cards, no reserves, no equity in a home, nothing. 400 bucks. I got fired from 2 jobs in the same week. I took a job as a custodian working in downtown Raleigh for $8.25 an hour. And I finally hit rock bottom, which I needed so desperately to hit. It was September 2013, coach, when someone's trash, rotten meat, nasty, protruding, horrible smelling garbage got all over me. And coach, that was the wake-up call that I needed, because today I reference this quote a lot in our work. Rock bottom is the moment that I rebuilt my life. J.K. Rowling, who wrote the Harry Potter series, and I use that because she is the only billionaire author in the world today, and she wrote Harry Potter at rock bottom while she was homeless and
living in her car.
In her car.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yep.
So, coach, to answer your question, so that really was the worst time of my life, but it turned out to be the best time of my life. Also, I didn't know at the time, because that rock bottom moment, it pushed me to start speaking that month, September 2013. Didn't get a paid job for 2.5 years. Got my first paid job April 2016. 2018, I met Mel Robbins. I went to a program called NAPSA, National Athletic Professional Success Academy. And between that, coach, learning the business, the last 8 years, we've worked for over 90 Fortune 500 clients. Clients like Intel, clients like the Home Depot Company, Equitable, AXA Advisors, JP Morgan and Chase, New York Life, MetLife, Liberty Mutual Insurance. I can go down the list.
You're on a TEDx stage. You're a TEDx speaker.
TEDx stage.
Yeah.
Job in TEDx up in Toronto. And coach, I will tell people this. At the end of the day, all these things that we're doing are amazing. We're grateful and we're full of gratitude. But I'm also a guy that's been at complete rock bottom, had no money, had no friends, was fired from 2 jobs in the same week. I'm the same guy who was making $311.22 per week to get where I'm at today. So again,
so when you tell people, when in all the work that you do, and I'm lucky enough to be on the receiving side of that, when people ask you how did you get from there? Not even to here. How did you get from there? If that was a Wednesday, how did you get to Sunday, right? So many people want to know, forget about 10 years from now. Everybody has dreams and hopes, but how did you manage just to wake up the next day, the next day, the next day? Where did that come from?
Coach, every single day, my job was to move with intention towards speaking. Either that is call one person, text one person, create a website, take a picture of me speaking, take a picture of me pretending to speak at my desk, or whatever the case may be. It's everything in life for us, coach, to move with intention towards something. And I tell people, if you're struggling right now like I was, and again, I'm telling you right now, I struggle more than you could ever imagine. Because after my career and after building a successful business and then losing all of that so fast, so quick, everything I had worked for, coach, my home, my cars, all my money, gone in the blink of an eye, with no one coming to save me, with no resources on the horizon, with no plan. So all I did, coach, when I decided that I wanted to be a speaker, every single day I did one thing, just one, that moved me towards speaking. That's it. just one. And that's kind of how I got to where I'm at today.
Action matters, right? Action
It's
matters.
everything. It's
Yep.
everything. If
Yep.
it's coach, you know, at the end of the day, talking about something is one thing. Doing it, taking action towards it, now that's another.
Yep. And obviously, your discipline that had gotten you to the NFL and all of that. I mean, that had to be just paramount in this journey for you of just waking up every day and just little. We're gonna win the day, keep winning days. Then you win a week, then you win a month, right? Like, I mean, just the discipline part must have been massive.
Coach, it was everything because when you're starting out at the bottom, most people are not going to cheer you on. They're not going to tell you congratulations. They're not going to say we love what you're doing. They're going to say, why are you doing it? What are you thinking? You don't have the talent. When I first started speaking, coach, almost everyone said, why are you doing this? You have no experience in this. You're not the next Tony Robbins. You don't have a book. You don't have a brand. You don't have a name. I heard it all. But again, coach, I never gave up because you said it best. My mindset, my discipline, my grit would never allow me to give up. And that's what I learned from the NFL. I was always coachable and I always listened to my coaches. And all I always talked about, this is not going to be easy, but life isn't easy. If you want to win in life, you have to be focused and disciplined to do what most people aren't willing to do. So absolutely, coach, the mindset to keep going through all that negativity is why I feel most people don't make it to be successful or to the career or the type of success that they're looking for. Because unfortunately, some people just don't see things through to the end.
Right. And adversity, which is coming for us all, right? You have to practice that. You have to practice the preparation, as you said. You have to practice the execution, as you said. And, you know, adversity doesn't mean stop, right? It means we have to find another path. Yep.
Because,
Yep.
coach, if you're not used to adversity, then I feel you haven't lived life long enough. Because all of us, if we're honest with ourselves and we're truthful and we're authentic, we're all going to say we have all faced some sort of adversity, obstacle, hardship in our life. But again, you have to learn how to thrive through the storms, not just survive through the storms. Huge difference.
So knowing now, right, what you know and what you've lived, here's then the question for you. I've always wanted to ask you this. Would you change the circumstances that you have been through? If you look at your life now, and again, for the people listening, I'm so impressed. First of all, you know everybody. Your personality is electric. I could talk to you at 8 a.m. I could talk to you at 10 o'clock at night. Like, your energy it's always the same. So accomplished. Remember chatting with you one day, you were leaving Tampa like late at night to fly up to Toronto to go to this. I mean, your grind is absolutely insane. Would you change it though? The losing everything. If you could go back and snap your fingers, would you change it?
Absolutely not. Because that taught me what I needed to be taught: humility, humbleness. And without those things, full of humility, gratitude, being humble, I could have built something up again and lost it like that. Because at the end of the day, right, coach, when you go through hardship, it should be looked at as a life lesson. And what I learned from losing everything, coach, was that just because you're successful 1 minute does not mean you're going to stay successful. Just because you have all this money in the world doesn't mean you're going to be able to keep it if you don't keep your eye on the ball. And the biggest thing I learned, right, coach, never, ever take your people for granted. So I would change absolutely nothing, because losing everything monetarily is exactly what I needed to get to where I am today as a very successful individual, but who's grateful, full of gratitude, and always humble. Coach, you know one of my favorite quotes: gratitude is the biggest crusher of ego.
What was harder to handle? Two more questions. What was harder to handle? Losing like the damage to your ego or the damage to the bank account for you?
Ego. Oh God. Like having to face people. So coach, one of my team members who worked for me, Colin, tried to tell me that the path we were going down was one towards self-destruction. And I shunned him. I told him he didn't know what he was talking about. Oh, don't worry about it, Colin. We're good. We're fine. Having a great weekend. See you on Monday. He came in on Monday. He handed me his 2-week resignation papers. And like he predicted, within 3 months of him leaving, we were out. My ego, coach, was so bruised, battered, and beat up. It was like me getting punched by Mike Tyson in his prime. It knocked everything out of me because what happened is, coach, I had to face the facts that I made a mistake. Someone in my camp tried to alert me to the mistake. I didn't listen. And then, right, coach, having to face people when everybody told me, Marcus, you're never going to make it in this business because you don't know construction. Oh, I'm going to be fine. I got it. So, coach, having to face those people after you lost everything and they were right and you were wrong, that was a huge hit to my ego.
Do you still practice that today? Like, do you still think that's a very, very just integral part of your business success is just that skill set?
Of course. Because, coach, understanding how to listen to people that are on your team is everything. Because if people on your team don't feel they can talk to you or engage you or share things with you, they're going to keep it to themselves. And that creates a negative, toxic culture. So absolutely, coach, today I tell my team, you can tell me anything that you need to tell me. There's no judgment. There's nothing that's there's no repercussions. You just have to tell me what you think and how you feel, and we can move accordingly.
So last one. So always coachable, that phrase to you, what does that mean to you? I love getting answers from people about this question. What is it to you?
It means being an active listener who is going to listen more than they talk. Because being coachable doesn't mean taking what you hear and trying to explain to the coach, well, that's how I'm going to do it this way. I get this. You're not talking. When you're being coached and you're coachable, you shouldn't be talking a whole lot. You have to talk and respond, yes, 100%. But you're not the one talking a lot when you're being coached. I have a coach now, George Salmon. George, when we have our calls, he'll ask me for numbers. He'll ask me for data. I give it to him. But at the end, I would say, George, all right, give me your recap. And for about 2 minutes, right, coach, I don't say a word. He recaps the week we had, what we need to do for the upcoming week. We have a discussion. He makes points of emphasis on what you do here, there, either podcast related, speaking related, coaching / consulting related, wherever the case may be, right, coach? And so being coachable means listening way more than you talk and then applying what you've been taught or told and doing it with focus, with emotion, making sure it's good emotion, and extreme discipline.
So if people want to, and I would suggest they do, if people want to learn more about you or listen to your podcast or just be in your world, where would you want them to go to find more information about you?
They can go to our website, www.marquesogden.com, and you can check out our podcast, Get Authentic with Marques Ogden. We're on Spotify, Apple. We also have our own YouTube channel. Or just shoot me an email, marcus@marquesogden.com.
Well, my man, I can't thank you enough for doing this. You had me on your show a long time ago, and just I can't say enough good things about you. And for the people who are listening, thanks for spending time with us here on Always Coachable. If this episode gave you something, please share it with someone who's still growing. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube at Sandy Cohen Official. And remember that the best never think they've arrived. So stay curious, stay humble, stay coachable. I'm Sandy Cohen, and I will see you next time.